Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com for Friday, January 25th, 2008. Well, here we come to you again on a Friday, and the week was an unbelievable week. We saw some massive sell-offs, we saw some massive rallies, we saw the Fed coming out with a 75 basis point intra-meeting cut, and the markets, we saw the world markets coming down hard. We saw the world markets rally once the U.S. rallied, and it was just a wild week. If you weren't prepared for it, you probably got whipsawed and maybe got your head handed to you. Luckily for us in the Intra Day Stock Chat, we did quite well this week and maintained our composure early in the week and made a good amount of money late in the week as this market rallied, which was very nice. First off, just keep on pushing, you all. Come join the chat room. It's a great time. We have a wonderful time in that chat room. Great learning experience, great trading experience. Talk to amateur and professional traders who all come together to form one of the best chat rooms out there on the web, if not the best. Now let's get right into these charts. As I have mentioned here, quite the week we had, and you can see from the charts here on the ES futures, and again I'm looking here at the ES future March 08 contract, and you can see just these wicks on these candles, absolutely outrageous. And let's get out my trend tools so we can actually look at some technicals on the sides of things here. And number one, you just have to figure this out, and just take note of this. You have this focus right here, and we kept on noting over the last couple days how you made this beautiful little tweezer effect right here. And this is a big bullish sign. Whenever you have a sell-off and midday or at some point during the day they rally the markets off the lows, it's showing you that there's some buying pressure down there, and there's some people thinking the market's way too cheap in this area. So all the way from this area and down, the markets could never close. They tried one day, they tried 2 days, they could not do it, and that's a bullish signal, and you always want to look for that. It's kind of like a bottoming tail, but a 2-day bottoming tail where panic enveloped the markets 2 days in a row, and each time it pushed it up. Then what did that mean for us? Well, it mean we got that rally on the third day, and up we went. Beautifully spike here, beautiful spike to the upside. We got follow through the next day, and then obviously, folks, you got to have a little breather here on Friday, and it should come as no surprise, as we mentioned in the previous videos, that this market can reverse at any time. And obviously going into a weekend, people don't want to hold stocks that they're up. Anyone that bought a stock in this area here is not going to hold it, over the weekend after what happened last weekend on the long weekend. And there was some selling pressure that came into this market, and the markets did close down. It was by no stretch a dramatic sell-off today. The Nasdaq did close down 35 points, and the ES futures closed down about 18. But any way you cut it, that's not major. The Dow was down 171, the S&P down 21.5. So my point here, folks, yeah, those are big numbers, but compared to what we've been usually seeing, 300-400 points here, 300-400 points there, today was a little pullback, and we'll have to wait for next week to see. It wouldn't shock me to see a consolidation, maybe another push down at some point on Monday, and then a possible another move up. Ultimately, I think it's very possible going into this Fed meeting, or even after this Fed meeting, it's very possible for us to come up to this 20 moving average and meet that 20 moving average. I think that may be the extent of it, but you never know for sure. And ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce up in this area. All right, so it leaves a nice amount of upside considering we closed down here. But again, keep in mind, folks, I don't think necessarily, sometimes you have a 1-2 pullback, or even a 1-2-3 pullback. So you could have 1 or 2 more days leading up to the Fed where it's kind of wishy-washy in this area, a sideways trading pattern to possibly lower, or you could have a sideways trading pattern possibly up a little bit before the next spike up. But ultimately, I'd be shocked if they actually pushed this market this quickly down to the lows. If they did and it held this low here, and this is key to remember, folks, if they spike this market down again, but hold this low and it bounces off that low and you get a great double bottom like that, it's very possible we're seeing a double bottom formation on the chart in that situation. So keep that in mind, folks. And now let's look at the Nasdaq quickly here. Nasdaq again down 35 points today on a relatively quiet volume day. Volume was okay, but for a Friday after which we've done such huge volume all this week, it was pretty quiet. I think people were taking a breather. It's kind of like being in a boxing match with Mike Tyson after this week. You get one day where you can kind of just sit in the corner. You're going to take that opportunity and just kind of see what's up. So again, you see that nice little bounce off the lows here on the Nasdaq, and then the little retrace here. And again, that's always the normal market situation, is you get a push up and a small pullback and that they got another push. It's kind of an ebb and flow type situation, like a wave coming into the beach, then the water comes back out, and another bigger wave, and so forth. So we'll keep monitoring that, but again, the main areas you want to watch is the double bottom down here. You also want to watch on the upside a 20 moving average hit would be right around here, and that would be where you'd look to sell into resistance right there, or hopefully enough buying to push it there. Should we get above that 20 moving average, then you do have a possible move up here, but I would think it would take a pretty major move in this market, or a big Fed rate cut, or something very bullish, maybe a bailout of the reinsurers, which is continually being talked about, and I think is a horrible idea for the long-term United States and the long-term markets, but probably in the near term would give a huge rally to the markets. Ultimately, it will be the downfall of this country, unfortunately, financially, if they continue to just print money and distribute it to take care of the near term without consideration of the long term. There's a reason why this country has so much debt, and if we don't take care of it at some point, it's going to come back to haunt us big time, if it already hasn't started to come back to haunt us in causing this big crisis with liquidity issues and too much subprime lending and lending overall. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about some odds and ends here. I want to go to the intraday chart on the ES, and we'll just look at some intraday patterns. And you can basically see that the intraday chart today was pretty much a gap up and a sell right into it. A constant sell, but it wasn't a major sell. It wasn't like we had huge spikes down. It was kind of like a sell, 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 bounce, sell, 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 bounce. And that's what I'm going to point out here. And first of all, everyone looking at this chart, you always want to, as a technical guy or technical girl and focusing in on the markets, you always want to look at, there should be things on this chart that are pointed out to you right away, and you should say, oh, look at that, oh, look at that, this is major support, major resistance, a buy signal, a sell signal. And I'm just going to go out and point these out right here. Market comes here into the open, pushing up. What is this? Topping tail right here. You have a topping tail. That's a sell signal, and look what happens to the markets. Then right here, you look for its support right in this area. It doesn't hold the support, although you do get a one green candle bounce right there. But as soon as that bounce couldn't get back above the 20, that's another sell signal and a move down here. Now you close below the 200 moving average right in this situation, but the next couple candles got you back above, but you never were able to break up to hit these moving averages. Once you close back below the 200 right here on this candle, and the next candle went lower, meaning that you got a confirmation sell right there, that's another sell signal. You make a move down, then you get a little tiny bounce here and another sell-off. And again, as I said, it wasn't a major sell-off either way. But then the next thing on this chart, look at right here. Everyone should see this. It's a little bottoming tail, and you get a nice move up there, a retrace, a double bottom, another bottoming tail, and right off that bottoming tail, you get another move up. Now the next move up here comes right into that 20 moving average resistance area, and you again see it kind of stall out there, and then another sell-off, another bottoming tail, and a little buy into the close. So there's multiple things as the charts are going that all you guys that are interested in learning these things should be kind of taking note of, because the charts will tell you where the market's going. It's just a matter of, is it worth the risking of your money to take that shot in that situation. If you're a quick scalp trader, it absolutely is. If you're a little slower on the trigger, then you have to be very careful and wait for the bigger moves to happen, such as this type of move was a good one. The bounce I wouldn't have taken advantage of. The next move down you can take advantage of, and so forth. The little bottoming tail here you possibly could have once you saw that for just a small push up. But you got to be in and out quick in the intraday market when you're dealing with indexes and so forth. Now, we did see a push up on a lot of these solar companies, continuation, and those of you in the stock chat room with me, we bought SOLF yesterday at the close right here and sold it on the gap up right here. Very nicely done, because we sold it near the high of the day. It only closed up about 15 cents for the day after we sold it up over $1 higher on the day. Very nice job, everyone in the chat on that one. Overall, we saw weakness across the board again in Baidu. You can see from the open, continuation sell all the way down, and this just mirrored the markets. After Apple's earnings, large cap tech has really taken a beating. It did have a couple days of bouncing the last couple days, but Apple especially has been ultimately weak and now trading at $130 after being at $200 not more than a month ago. So very, very interesting to watch. More earnings next week, but the big thing next week is the Fed. Okay, guys? It's a two-day Fed meeting next Tuesday and Wednesday. They announced Wednesday 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and that will be the big-time deal for the markets. It's very likely volume will get very light on Tuesday and on Wednesday morning until that meeting until the rate decision is announced, Fed funds futures are pricing in a 50 basis point cut. Now, if they do more, you see a big rally, I think. If they do less, possibly not so much of a rally, maybe a sell-off back to the lows from this week. It's going to be volatile after that, and that's the key here, folks. But we will follow the charts. As long as you analyze the charts daily, and again, let's go back to the NASDAQ chart here, and you look at the different angle places you want to focus in on. And again, just like always, you have the sell-off, a bounce, then possible another sell-off coming. But again, I do think there might be some more upside in this market, but it's a very iffy situation because it's all based on the Fed, and you want to be severely cautious. I will tell you I'm mostly in cash going into this weekend one more time, as I don't want to hold anything into the weekend. Just like everyone else out there, I took the easy way out today. Alright guys, have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with another video on Monday. Come join us. We'll talk to you soon.